My name is Karla Bailey-Smith, and I am the president of the steering committee for the Central Illinois chapter of the ACLU of Illinois. The chapter and the ACLU have a long history of working to address concerns regarding policing, and particularly discriminatory policing in communities across McLean County and across the country. Today, I'm happy to be here on behalf of the chapter to encourage this board to help address the long-term issue of racial bias in traffic stops. For decades, Black and Latino members of our community have known that they are more likely to be stopped by police in routine traffic stops compared to white motorists. These stops are not now and have never been innocuous and innocent. Black drivers in particular have felt harassed and singled out, creating a divide between police and a significant sector of the community they serve. For individuals stopped without merit or under suspicious circumstances, their lives are impacted, forcing delays when they are trying to get to work, to their doctor, or even to the grocery store. Even worse, many are harassed and intimidated. For the past 2 decades, the disparity in traffic stops has not relied on anecdotal suggestions or reports. We have hard data. As my colleague told you last month, the state of Illinois has collected de-identified data from every jurisdiction in Illinois about every traffic stop across the state. The data, again, reported by law enforcement themselves, records every stop that takes place, who was stopped, why they're stopped, and the result of the stop. The data for Bloomington is reported each year by the Illinois Department of Transportation. And over these 2 decades, a racial disparity in traffic stops in Bloomington has been evident and increasing. For the first year that data was collected, IDOT reported that minority drivers were twice as likely to be stopped than white drivers in Bloomington, and that minority drivers experienced around 2,200 traffic stops that year. In recent years, the numbers have gotten worse. Specifically in 2021 and 2022, Black drivers were 4 times more likely to be stopped, and Latino drivers nearly twice as likely to be stopped as white drivers. Minority drivers experienced more than 15,000 total traffic stops in Bloomington in 2022. We heard from Chief Symington at Bloomington City Council in March, stating that he is working to change this trend. Using the data to train police, our call to action today is for a public discussion about what is being done to address the disparity in traffic stops by race in Bloomington. This board can help lead the way. We call on you to convene a hearing on the data. You should, of course, call on the leaders of Bloomington Police Department to explain why the data they report to IDOT shows disparities in traffic stops in the community. And we encourage you to hear from members of the community about their experiences and their response to being stopped by police when they are Black and Latino. These experiences can be traumatic, and those feelings can be long-lasting. These voices will help all of us understand the wedge that these traffic stops create between the police and our Black and Latino friends and neighbors. Finally, we encourage you to make recommendations about fixes for these problems. Some communities around the state have done additional training and oversight of individual officers to address racial disparities in traffic stops. Urbana is now experimenting with limiting traffic stops to high-risk areas, those areas at highest risk for traffic accidents. The mission of this board is to build a strong sense of community between the police and residents of Bloomington. Addressing the racial disparity in traffic stops is a good place to further that goal and increase transparency, public trust, and therefore public safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. The other public comment? No. Does everyone have